Hi, I'm Diana, and usually we talk here about style, fashion, looking good, but today I want to talk about the big problems with looks maxing, glowing up, and perfection seeking, and the 5 ways you can guarantee you can feel prettier. If you don't happen to know what looks maxing means, it's about maximizing your looks, and whether that's through facial exercises like mewing, or plastic surgery or fillers or whatever. Anything you can do to maximize your looks and increase your value in this world. And what am I always saying about that? That your looks are not your value, your looks are not your worth. So let's talk a bit about this today because I do actually have 5 guaranteed ways that you can feel prettier at the end. So stick around to the very end. Or if you're impatient, skip ahead. I don't care, but it'd be better if you stuck around. Once again, we find ourselves in a space where it's one extreme or the other. Why are things so extreme today? I don't know. But we're either filling our face full of chemicals or we are saying, I don't need any of that and I'm going to raise chickens in the country. You know, you know which one I am. But I still like red lipstick and winged eyeliner and a red scarf. So obviously I'm somewhere in the middle, okay? So can we just speak from the middle for a second? Can we just stop being extreme for a second and just meet in the middle? And let's talk about the problems with looks maxing and perfection seeking. Well, first of all, everyone knows that these ideals that are put in our faces every day are unrealistic. You're looking at filters. You're looking at faces that have been shaped by algorithms. These are not real faces. Most real faces that you see do not look like that and cannot look like that. So it is unrealistic to try to hope to look like something that's not even real. It's never ending. You could spend your whole life doing this and never reach it or almost reach it, which will just keep you going forever and ever, spending all that money, spending all that effort when you could be doing other things. Other things like what? You could be building a business, learning a language, learning an instrument. You could be exercising, writing a novel, learning how to renovate your home. Instead, you're worried about how to contour your nose. There's far too much focus on yourself. If you think about it, humans have existed for thousands and thousands of years, but they had to build mirrors to look at themselves. A mirror is actually not even a natural way for a human to exist. A human is not designed to look at themselves as much as we do these days. Our brains literally are not built for it. They cannot handle it. And that's why we end up so sad looking in the mirror all the time. But I mean, we're simply not built for it. So, I mean, are you sad that you're also not built to flap your arms and fly through the sky? You don't sit around on the couch going, oh, I can't even fly. I'm so gross. Disgusting. You're just not built for flying, just like you are not built for looking at yourself endlessly and scrutinizing everything about your face. Let's talk about pretty and what pretty means. Pretty might mean to you something that is aesthetically pleasing, or that multitudes of people think you're hot, or simply fitting the beauty ideals of today, which are impossible. You might even be defining pretty as youthfulness. A lot of people make this mistake. But defining pretty as youthfulness would be the same mistake you could make if you said a dog is an animal and an animal is a dog. Because youthfulness is pretty, but prettiness is not youthfulness. I think that pretty can be quite a few things. And I think that we're actually quite lucky if we can step back and realize that pretty is not just youth, and pretty is not just aesthetically pleasing, but it is also a feeling, aka feeling loved and seen. Plenty of pretty women have come very close to fitting the ideals of today's beauty standards, but they are not known as the happiest women. So here's an example. Think about a woman who closely looks like the beauty standards of today. And then imagine her home alone in her apartment. Her lover did not come to take her out today. And because she's so focused on being the prettiest girl in the room wherever she goes, she has intimidated other women out of wanting to be friends with her. Not happy. She's lonely. So no matter how pretty she becomes, if she never has that joyous interaction with the world, she never feels pretty, or the prettiness that she does have is worthless. But what is perfect anyhow? And I love the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And it's horrible to say that in this conversation, but I think it's fitting because I don't know if you know about this study. Actually, one of my viewers alerted me to it, and I devoured this study by OkCupid years ago. I just thought this was so fascinating, and you need to know about it. So, OkCupid, which is a dating app or site, they ran this study about beauty. So, in this study, they found that the more perfect that you are, generally, more people think you are pretty, but they're not really excited about you. But the more interesting that you are, the more different that you are, less people will think you're pretty, but the ones that think you're pretty are wild about you. They think that you're just the best. They are passionate about your unique beauty. This is fascinating to me because that means that when you're aiming for perfect, you're going to get a bunch of people who go, she's pretty. But if you are interesting and unique, you're going to get a few people that are just like, she's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Which would you rather have? I mean, wouldn't you rather have that kind of passion in your life? Do you honestly need multitudes of people to think that you're simply pretty? Or would you like just a few to think you are fantastic? I mean, we do have to acknowledge that feeling pretty is fun. It's probably even evolutionary. It's probably just so deep in our bones that we want to feel pretty because it makes us feel loved and seen. A lot of women will say, I just want to feel pretty. And that is totally okay. It's exciting to feel validated by others. It gives you that rush of dopamine. It's nice to have external validation, but external validation is fleeting and you will always need more. What you need is your own internal validation. And you know, being pretty is not always something that you can control, but feeling pretty is completely under your control. So here's two things that I am not saying in this video. I am not putting down plastic surgery or anybody who's had it. I believe that your outsides are your art that you bring to the world. And if you want your art to cost a lot of money and be painful and you're happy with it, that is your art. That is your choice. I am not anti-plastic surgery. I only am for myself because this is my art and this is what I'm creating. And no one should place judgment on that either. So I am not being anti-plastic surgery. Also, what I am not saying is don't focus on your outsides. I think you should focus on your outsides. It's your calling card. It's your business card. When people see you, it tells them a lot about you and whether they want to hang out with you or talk with you. This is all important stuff. This is the joyful part of life, are the interactions between people and the situations you're going to find yourself in. And you're going to find yourself in more situations if you take care of your outsides. And here are our 5 guaranteed ways to feel prettier. Well, first you've got to redefine the word pretty. You think a flower is pretty, but you don't judge it for not being a sunset. A flower is pretty in its very own way. Grooming. Smelling good, being clean and neat will always make you prettier in everyone's eyes. Even if it's something that they don't see, they feel your cleanliness and your neatness, and they know that you value yourself in the way that you present yourself to the world. Have you ever walked past someone in the grocery store and smelled the oil in their hair? This gives me the heebie-jeebies, and I don't want to be around that person. If I can smell a person from 2 feet away and it's not good, I don't want to hang out with that person. But if I smell someone who smells wonderful, I've been known to do this. I've actually followed people around the grocery store just to smell them longer. I'm such a creep. But I honestly have done that. Another way to feel prettier is to decorate yourself. This goes beyond basic grooming, smelling good, and being neat. This is decorating yourself. This is cultivating your style, creating something unique to you, showing off what you love. When you decorate yourself, you are honoring your unique beauty. Think about it. If you had a home that wasn't decorated, you would not feel that anybody loved that home. But if you decorate it and you see that someone has put a lot of work into it, you know that they love living there. And it's the same thing with your body. And when I say decorate yourself, I mean with your style, with your jewelry, with your makeup, and number 4, with your health and fitness. If you build your health and fitness, you will feel prettier. I guarantee it. Have you ever met anyone who has worked on their health and fitness and they've came up a level? Have you ever met anyone who then said, "Yeah, but I really regret it. Oh, yeah, I really don't want to do all sorts of things without pain and stiffness"? No, because people don't regret getting fit because it feels good and you feel prettier. Your clothes hang better. You will feel prettier if you get more fit. And the 5th way to feel prettier is through active kindness and generosity. What does this mean? Active kindness and generosity. This means you're putting effort into it. You're putting effort into people wanting you around. So people enthusiastically look forward to your presence, because when they enthusiastically look forward to your presence, you feel seen and loved, and therefore prettier. So, who's the prettiest of all? You're not going to believe what I have to say about this, but I do believe the prettiest person I've ever seen is Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is my hero. He is an absolute 10. I know I said not to use the number system on people, but Mr. Rogers is a 10. You know why? Because he's happy and he's a helper. His main quote is, "Look for the helpers." When you are feeling worried and scared, look for the helpers. That's because he's a helper. When you are a helper, Mr. Rogers was super inspiring. He was generous. He was kind. He was well groomed. He had a certain way of dressing that communicated his ideals. I think he's an absolute pretty 10. So that's the key, folks. You want to feel prettier? Make people around you feel at ease with you and make them enthusiastically look forward to your presence. You will feel seen. You will feel loved. And therefore, you will feel prettier. Maybe being pretty isn't completely under our control, but feeling pretty absolutely is under our control. So if you liked this talk, please comment below and talk about how you feel prettiest or a time that you felt pretty. And let's chat about it. I want to talk more about what's going on. Uh-oh. We have new foster kittens. Keep an eye out for foster kitten updates. We have new scarves in my store. Keep an eye out for updates. And if you like these kind of talks, then you might want to check out this playlist right here. Let's talk soon.